So great start to our first show. We have Bob Olivieri out of South County. Steve, did you learn something from Bob?
Yeah, I did learn something from Bobby, just to remind me to go down into South Bay. I love playing golf down at Salt Creek. I played Bonita on last Saturday. So today, you never know, Craig, but it's always good. The 125 East Lake, everything down there is fantastic. So it's good to have representation on our team
First
now.
time we met him.
Yeah,
full disclosure.
Great guy.
A lot of the people we have on the show are experts of the marketplace who we've had on our radio show for years.
Right.
We trust him to give great advice. It's the first time we met Bob. He was recommended to us and obviously brought a new element of South County into the show. So it's great information, of course. If you have questions, you want any numbers, reports out of South County, if you go to craigsewing.com. And by the way, that is the website that you see behind Steve Kane over there, and it's where we always try and direct you. We can help you with all that.
Yep.
There's a video this week that I pulled online off of CNBC talking about how this is a new type of housing market. We're going to bring in Bobby Martins in just a moment to help me break this thing down. But let's go ahead and roll that thing.
Are you hopeful that things will improve as we move into the spring here? What do you think?
Let me just say the housing market as we knew it from like a year ago, that's over. We're in this new era where it's just nice and steady. There's going to be your crazy blips in the Los Angeles area, San Francisco, New York. But I think it all comes back to, I've said this a million times, the good jobs.
Right.
Are just not there and growing, and so why would you buy a house? Plus, the home builders have prices they're trying to get more and more and more, and the existing home stock that's out there that's only a few years old is still good and cheaper, and you can renovate it a lot cheaper than the new home builders want to charge you for a new house. So
yeah. So, Sherry,
I just see it nice and calm.
Let's talk about this drop last month, because you point out, look, we had bad weather in December, so why is it that all of a sudden people...
You know what's actually funny about that video is Toll Brothers just crushed it on their revenue, up 52%. So the luxury home builder is out there is building.
Right.
I'd say that was a little bit negative on the housing market. Look, all housing markets are local. Whether it makes sense to buy or not has to do with your personal plan. With low interest rates and low payments, it makes sense. You got to live somewhere. You're either going to pay your landlord's mortgage and help him build equity, help him get tax advantages, or you're going to buy your own, build your own memories, build your own equity, get your own tax advantages. You just have to really look at the numbers and interject them into your short and long-term goals and see if it makes sense. But I'm still very bullish on housing, certainly here in San Diego. Let's go ahead and bring in our next guest who's an expert on this. It's Bobby Martins. He does a ton of business here in San Diego. He has an excellent team. He was on the radio show recently talking about being a move-up buyer in this market. He's also discussed being a move-down buyer. Covers all of San Diego. So it's great to welcome into the studio Bobby Martins.
Good to have you.
Welcome. Also joining us, Trisha on your team, and Ryan Singh. So guys, welcome.
Thank you.
So first time you brought your team in here. Now let's go ahead and comment on the video first if we could. I don't know, did it come across a little negative to you?
Definitely negative, and I could see some of it on the new home construction side of things, but the resale market's a little different. And if we had more inventory right now, the market would be going absolutely bananas, and you'd see home sales going through the roof. But because there's limited inventory, sales are flat. But I could tell you, sales are pretty strong. I mean, in the last 72 hours, our team has put 4 deals into escrow, so it's
you guys
pretty good.
Are seeing a lot of activity, and let's remember, the housing market doesn't have to go up 20% a year to be considered a good housing market.
Correct.
I mean, let's just do some simple math. Now, you have your team positioned out of Carmel Valley, but you do cover all of San Diego. That's why you got a great team, and there's more of you guys behind the scenes, what you do every day. But obviously, you're seeing activity in other parts of the market. You're seeing appreciation. Let's just look at Carmel Valley for a second. Where's the median price range in there?
Yeah, you're right around 950.
Okay, so 950.
It's up in but you have
it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger.
Let me pull it down a little bit and speak more to the first-time home buyer. And you guys are home buyer specialists, so I'll get your thoughts on this in a moment. But if you're buying a house for $500,000, more of the San Diego median home price, the payment on that is going to be very similar to what you're paying in rent. Now, let's imagine if it went up 3% a year versus 20. 3% of $500,000 is $15,000 a year you're going up. But every time you make that payment and it goes down, you're paying down principal. That's where you're building equity and you're getting tax advantages. And when you see renting versus owning numbers, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that despite some of the negativity you might see on the news, which I know is great for ratings, it may not necessarily speak to what's happening here in San Diego. Now, Trisha and Ryan, you guys are specifically working with buyers. So I know that you have a whole team, listings, negotiation, but on the buyer's side of deals right now, where we just referenced low inventory, I imagine as a first-time home buyer going out there making offers, it probably gets pretty frustrating trying to get the offers accepted. So what's the strategy in a market that has low inventory?
Well, Ryan, tell them the story about what happened today.
Today I put a deal in escrow today. A couple hours ago, it was a tough deal. I was in competition with about 12 other buyers on the property, and it's just really having a real relationship with the listing agent.
Now, the 12 offers you're going up against, are there investors in there, cash buyers?
It's all similar. Some of them have better loan programs, but it really just comes down to who can get the job done at the end of the day. And they chose us because they felt that we were the people that
they wanted to work with you.
They wanted to work with us.
Wanted to work with you.
Definitely.
What are you seeing?
I agree. I've worked with buyers for quite a long time, and when the inventory is low, it's all about how you present your offer and your offer package to listing agent. And like you said, it's also about the relationship you have with the listing agent. It's important for them to make sure that they're comfortable with the buyer that they're choosing, because they don't want to be somebody to back out of escrow halfway through the transaction.
Yeah, so it's important. It's a relationship business. It's why a lot of the people we have on the show are people I've known for years, guys like Bobby. You work with a lot of high-end buyers as well. Yeah, I know you really niche as a move-up buyer. We've talked about move-up buyer. But with the listings that you have, when other agents are making offers, what are the things that you're looking for?
Well, obviously the strength of the overall offer is important. How much are they putting down? Is it cash versus having to get a loan is obviously really important. The integrity of that agent, is that someone that I want to work with? Is that someone that is a good agent to work with? Are they going to make our lives harder or easier? And the same thing for the buyer. I mean, you want a very clean offer, and that's usually what I look for. Clean offers from agents that are sensible and that can get the job done. And we do a lot of background search on all of these people to make sure that we are opening escrow with the right
I was just going to say it's a funny business, the real estate business.
You mean crazy?
It's crazy. It's funny. It's chaotic. But there's somewhere around 17,000 real estate licenses in San Diego, right? So when you think about, or is it San Diego or is it California?
That's San Diego County. California, it's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, it's six
higher.
figures.
Yeah.
I mean, just a ridiculous number. To get a real estate license isn't that difficult. To be excellent at it is very difficult. There's a very big gap between the two. And I really want this to be a takeaway for you if you're getting in the market, you're looking at buying real estate, that you can't just choose any agent. You can't just look for someone who has a sign up in your neighborhood or someone who's on a bus bench. Not to say that those things aren't important, but that's not necessarily how you choose an agent, or maybe someone that you knew years ago, or a friend. You really got to look for who is a top producer. You got to have a level of trust, and as Bobby is demonstrating here, the confidence of the listing agent might help get that offer accepted. You actually had a list of tips that you wanted people to be able to get their hands on, taken away from this show, but let's break them down real quick, and then we'll certainly give a copy to anyone who wants to reach out to craigsewing.com. So what are the tips?
Well, the first one is obviously you got to hire the right agent. You've got solo versus team. So as a buyer, if I'm looking for an agent, you have to know the differences between that. So if it's a solo agent, that agent is just bogged down with every single detail of what they have to do every single day as far as marketing. They're wearing a million different caps.
Yep.
When you're hiring a team, like for example, I have a marketing director, I have an operations manager, we have buyer's agents. We're basically doing specialized tasks. So if in this market, it's hot. The good listings sell within 5 days on the market typically if it's priced right, so the good deals sell fast. So it really comes down to, is that agent going to be available to you when you need them? So if you call them up on a Saturday morning and say, hey, this new one just popped on the market, I want to go look at it.
Yep. What's
that agent going to say? Oh, well, I got a soccer practice today, I got this, I got that, I can't make it. That doesn't happen with our team. There's always somebody ready and available to
what else do we
help
got?
them. Initial consultation. So Number two is that this is actually one of the most important things in determining whether you're working with a professional or not.
Yep.
Okay, if they don't offer initial consultation, then you should run in the opposite direction. It's like building a house without any architectural plans.
Yep.
It just doesn't work. And you might get lucky and buy a house, but it's not going to be the best possible.
Well, there's a difference between a realtor and a resource. You know, in a realtor, again, having your license like the 17,000 other in San Diego is one thing, but actually to look at someone's mortgage plan, their financial plan, if they buy the house, you're going to want to get an estate plan in place.
Yep.
And having an overall presentation around that and having those other partners in what you do, I think is really important. What else you got?
Number three, you want to select your lender and which loan program you're going to go with even before you start looking at houses. I always tell
are people doing that now? By God, I hope they are.
I hope so.
I mean, but you're the buyer's agents. Are
it's our
people
job
knowing
to
that?
advise them.
Are they knowing that they have to do that first? I mean, and here's the why behind it. If you go out and look for homes that you don't truly qualify for, you're wasting everybody's time and your offer won't get accepted. And if you're unlucky enough that your offer does get accepted, it could fall out of escrow. You have a money, earnest deposit, contract on the line. But do people, typically speaking, know that that's step number one is get pre-approved?
Not everybody, but when they come to us, that's our job to advise them and to educate them on what they need to do to get the process started so that it can be smooth.
Just so you know, get a mortgage plan. Go to craigsewing.com. We'll help you. What else you got?
All right, so and then this is something that we do religiously with every client is we research the last 6 months of sold homes in the area that they want, in the price range they want. So that educates them on the market.
Okay.
Number 5 is talk to your CPA about tax breaks. Number 6, when you do find a property, make sure you make an informed offer.
What does that mean?
You don't just say, okay, well the price is $500, so I'm going to offer $475.
Is there lowballing going on now, or people pass it?
It happens, but my point is that $500,000 listing price, it could be a low price already. It could be worth $550. So to lose a property because you didn't do the proper homework and look at the comparable sales is dumb and shouldn't happen. The last thing is once you do find that home and you're in escrow, make sure that you have a quality home inspector review the property inside and out, and every single inspection that they say to get, you should get. So if they say, get the electrical looked at, by electrician, then do it, because you don't want to have any surprises come in after you close escrow and then have a big headache on your hand.
Yep. Well, let's get this list out to anyone who wants it. So these are the 7 tips for home buying from Bobby Martin. You can go to Bobby's website, moveupsandiego.com, get a list of this. What else do they get at your website?
You can sign up for free alerts. You can sign up for what your home's worth. So every month it'll tell you automatically. It'll send you an email of what your home's worth. So we've got a lot of new stuff on the website. It's really coming along. We just redid it a few months ago, so it's definitely looking good now.
Awesome. Trisha, Ryan, Bobby Martins.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man. All right, coming up. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, the Midwest. I moved to San Diego because of the smell of the Pacific Ocean, just being able to be in sunny San Diego. So we're going to have an expert speaking specifically to La Jolla, Pacific Beach, and up the coastal market. Our good friend who works and plays there, Brian Lewis, who's one of our real estate elites, going to be joining me in studio. And we're going to get to some of your emails from craigsewing.com. Keep going there. We're going to answer your questions by the end of the show. You're watching The American Dream, back here in just a moment.